Hi, I'm Dave Christensen.
And I'm John Fidley.
And welcome to SuperCoach, a series of videos for golf instructors, where John and I talk about some of the advanced principles of golf instruction. Now, John and I have been teaching golf for a long time.
That's because we started when we were young and now we're old.
And in that time, we've given maybe, 100,000 golf lessons between us. We've given golf schools, golf clinics, golf workshops all over the country. And to do that, we've often had to hire, train, and mentor other golf instructors. So we've had the unusual experience of being able to actually watch golf instructors improve their teaching skills. So our goal is to pass on to you what we've observed watching golf instructors become better golf instructors. So here we go. Listen up.
That's right. Like most golf instructors, I started off as an assistant pro in my first job right out of school. But I already considered myself to be quite a student of the game. I had done a tremendous amount of reading on golf history, golf instruction, and the golf swing. But now that I was charged with giving some lessons, I decided it was time to really pick up my research and my study. And not just the modern stuff, but everything. I mean everything, all the way back to old Tom Morris. I had read Harry Vardon, Bobby Jones, Alex Morrison, Percy Boomer, Tommy Armour, Sam Snead, Ernest Jones, Ben Hogan's books, of course, Bill Melhorn, Jack Nicklaus, Bob Tosky, Manuel Della Torre, and even all the modern stuff coming out. In other words, I wanted to learn everything I possibly could about the golf swing. And at one time I had over 600 pieces in my collection. And I did it because I enjoyed it, but I also wanted to be the best I could be. Apparently my passion paid off because I rose up the ranks relatively quickly and eventually landed a job as a director of instruction at a top-tier private country club. That was my dream job. That was the job that I'd always wanted. I remember thinking at the time that I had really arrived. I was giving lessons every day, making a good living, and I was quite proud of myself. Then I met Dave Christensen. Dave was another young golf professional here in town who had started a local golf school. Now, these were before golf schools were all that popular, so Dave was kind of a pioneer in that field. We were having lunch one day, and Dave asked me if I'd be willing to come out and have a look at his school and tell him what I thought. So I said, sure, and I did. I went out to one of his schools one evening, and I was immediately blown away. I mean, I was shocked. I saw all of these students, these golfers, just bombing the ball out there with good, powerful golf swings and repeating them. Now, these were not college golfers, nor were they high school golfers. No, these were middle-aged men and women with day jobs. And I distinctly remember thinking to myself, what the hell is going on here? I heard Dave talk to his class, and what he had to say was so clear and straightforward. And I'm tempted to say simple, but I knew it wasn't simple, because golf is not simple. And teaching golf certainly is not simple. But it sounded simple to the students, and that's important. I talked to Dave later about some of the things that I had witnessed, and he talked a little bit more about his background. And I found out that he also was an avid researcher. His research was a little bit different than mine, though. He went to the university with actual golfers and tested various instructional methods and principles. I asked more questions about the school and how Dave was getting the results that he was getting. And in that answer, I realized that when it came to my own instruction, I was just nibbling around the edges. I was teaching grip and stance, spine angle, posture, shoulder turn, leg drive, forearm rotation. But Dave was cutting right to the chase. And I remember thinking at the time that, my God, this guy's cracked the code. And I didn't even know there was a code to crack. I was both thrilled at what I saw, while at the same time being pissed that I wasn't the one that came up with it. Dave then said he had heard of my reputation as an instructor and as a golf instruction historian, and said, wouldn't it be cool if we could do something together? I think we could build something quite special. And I didn't have to think about that very long when I said, absolutely, I'm in, let's do this. So we expanded the school to 9 different states. We developed an excellent short game clinic. We had workshops for good players, and we drove and challenged each other. My instruction, got to tell you, has improved in many ways. The primary reason was having a better understanding with how golfers improve. What the student has to do, what the instructor has to do, how long it takes. I hope to, in a future video, talk more about the learning process, but right now let's turn it over to Dave, and he's going to go over some principles and features of a SuperCoach. Take it away, Dave.
Thanks, Pro. Like John, I too started out as an assistant pro. And I remember being on the job for only a short while when a name popped up in my lesson book. In other words, I was about to give my very first professional golf lesson. And I remember asking the head pro, I asked him, what do I do? Well, it was a very poor choice of words on my part, because he answered with, well, just watch him hit a few balls on the range and tell him something that might help his game. Yeah, I knew that part. What I wanted to know, and what I should have asked is there some method, some system, some way we do things here that I should know about? But I didn't ask that, and that's why I got, watch him hit a few balls and tell him something might help his game. Now, my second year as an assistant pro was very educational for me, because in the second year, the head pro told me to give the ladies' clinic. Now, he'd given the ladies' clinic himself the year before, but now that I had a year of experience under my belt, the pro said, Dave, you give the ladies' clinic. Okay. Now, the reason that was significant for me is because the ladies' clinic was a series of, 5 or 6 group lessons with the women. So I couldn't just go out and watch them all hit balls and tell them something might help their games. I needed some kind of a plan. I needed some idea of what I was going to teach in the various sessions. I needed, for lack of a better word, a syllabus, a lesson plan. So I used the same syllabus that the head pro had used the year before, which was start them off with a session on the short irons, and then one on the long irons, and then the fairway woods, and then the driver, and then chipping and putting. That was his syllabus, so I did the same thing. I wasn't all that pleased with the results, though, because I found myself teaching a lot of the same things in each of the sessions. I was really just trying to get the women to swing and hit the ball. So the next time I gave the ladies' clinic, I changed the syllabus. I changed it to grip, stance, backswing, forward swing, follow through. Grip, stance, backswing, forward swing, follow through. And that worked out a lot better. So I learned very early in my teaching career that just the way the teacher organizes the instruction can actually make a difference in the outcome. I also remember a couple years later attending a national PGA teaching workshop. And one of the instructors there was a golf professional named Bill Strasball. And he was an excellent teacher, man, and a superb communicator, and a very impressive guy in a lot of ways. If the name sounds familiar, it's because the PGA now has a national award called the Bill Strasball Award, which they give every year to a deserving recipient. Well, anyhow, at this teaching workshop, Strasball talked about motion, target, angle. Motion, target, angle. Motion referred to the motion of the body during the golf swing. The hips turn, the weight shifts, the shoulders rotate, the arms swing. That's motion. Target refers to all the physical and mental aspects of hitting a golf ball toward the hole. Things such as aim and alignment and swing path, plus the constant realization that golf is a target sport. An angle refers to the angle formed by the left arm and the shaft of the club. That angle sets on the backswing. You retain that angle for the first part of the forward swing, and then it releases through impact. That's angle. Motion, target, angle. That was his syllabus. In other words, he divided up golf along technical lines. And that opened up a whole new world of possibilities for me. Gave me so much to think about, so much to digest. so many avenues to explore. And I used motion target angle a lot in my own teaching, thought about it a lot. Motion target angle had, in my opinion, a couple of very minor shortcomings. One, it wasn't immediately understandable. Anytime one would use the phrase motion target angle, it had to be explained. Whether one was talking to a student or another golf professional, you had to tell them what you're talking about. Another weakness was that I wasn't sure it was comprehensive. Did motion target angle cover everything in golf? Well, maybe, but if it did, it wasn't obvious to me. Those were no big deals. Those were very, like I said, very minor weaknesses, but I thought about it a lot, and motion target angle started to evolve in my mind. And evolve is the right word because it was over an extended period of time, and any change was very small and incremental. But eventually, motion target angle had evolved, again for me, to distance, direction, and contact. Distance, direction, contact. Distance, direction, and contact are the goals of golf instruction from the student's standpoint. Anytime anybody would come to me for a golf lesson, that's what they were hoping to get. Distance, direction, or contact. So distance, direction, and contact became my syllabus. It became the basis for my instruction. It became the framework for my research, and it became the underpinnings of my golf school. Now, when John Fidley and I started doing a lot of work together, we eventually divided into 4 categories. We called them distance, direction, contact, and distance control. We felt distance control deserved its own category as opposed to hiding somewhere in here. So distance, direction, contact, and distance control became our syllabus. We call them the 4 skills. These are the skills that all golfers pursue, whether one is a beginner or a tour player. These are the things they're trying to master: distance, direction, contact, distance control. Now the good news. The good news is we found that the use of any syllabus is a fast and easy way for a golf instructor to improve his teaching effectiveness. We've seen it happen. Anytime an instructor can structure and organize all his golf knowledge and all his golf advice into functional categories, he's taking a major step toward becoming a top-tier instructor. We've also found that this particular syllabus, distance, direction, contact, distance control, is the most useful one that we've run across. Doesn't mean it's the best, just means, there could be some just as good, maybe even better. We're just saying it's the best one we've run across. Not only for us, but for all the instructors we've taken under our wing over the years. It's got a few things going for it. One, it allows the student and the teacher to speak the same language. That doesn't sound like much, but you'd be surprised how often that doesn't happen. It also acts as a great diagnostic tool. A student comes to an instructor for a lesson. All right, where are the problems? What are the issues? Well, they're either here, 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 or here. It allows the instructor to focus his advice on particular issues. These particular categories, distance, direction, contact, distance control, can also be easily divided into subcategories. For example, let's take direction. Direction can be divided into swing path and face angle. Swing path and face angle. Swing path, of course, is the direction that the club head is moving as it swings through the ball. Face angle is where the front of the club is pointing at impact. Swing path and face angle. Sometimes it's commonly referred to as path and face. But they are 2 independent and discrete variables. The subcategories can then be divided into the factors that affect them. What affects face angle? Well, the factors that affect face angle are grip, forearm rotation, bowing or cupping the left wrist. And you can do the same thing with the other categories, divide them into subcategories, and then list the factors that affect them. Pretty soon you have the entire field mapped out. It allows the instructor to truly focus his advice on very specific issues. Well, that's our first in a series of advanced principles of golf instruction. And these are all based on what we've observed watching golf instructors become better golf instructors. If you have any comments or questions, just list them in the comment section below. And of course, be sure to join us next time for another edition of SuperCoach.